Hey everybody, we're back at the social media kiosk. It is Monday. I lose track of my time. We just had a great keynote by David Pogue from Yahoo Tech. And with me now is Gina Seymour, who is a library media specialist at Islip.
Islip High School, yes.
Okay. Gina, first of all, just tell me, what are you here to see here at Islip?
Well, there are many wonderful sessions going on, and I'm here to learn from my colleagues and also from the vendors. What's new, what's out there, what can we use?
You are friends with Christina Holzweiss.
Yes,
and
my partner in slime.
Yeah, she was an award winner in Department in Slime, and now that you mention it, what is slime?
Slime,
tell us about that.
Slime is a maker expo. It's Students of Long Island Maker Expo. .com if you want to check us out, and it is a maker expo on Long Island, the South Shore of Long Island, where we both work. I'm at Islip High School, she's at Bayshore Middle School, so we're right there on the South Shore, and we've invited districts across Long Island, their students, pretty much everyone, to come join us. This year it'll be May 7th. Last year it was in the spring also, and we had over 400 students join us for a day of making. It was very, very enriching, very engaging day. There was a lot to do. It's recyclables to robotics. It's a lot of fun for everyone.
What can you tell me from a student side? Where did this whole maker movement and crop do you have any ideas as to where it's coming and where it's going, maybe?
I think
it's here to stay?
I think so. It was always around. Well, I'm dating myself, but we always tinkered. We always built something. Someone would get a new refrigerator or stove, and that box would keep us kids occupied for days and weeks. We would build forts. We'd build, villages out of these items, these recyclables, and this next generation seems to have lost that art of tinkering around, of building, of creating, of producing. They tend to be a little bit more consumer-driven. What's already made that I can purchase and own. And we need to get back to the creativity. We need to get back to our students, our children, developing that sense of creativity, because that's where the jobs are going to be. What can we do differently? What can we make and create differently, building upon knowledge and technology that's already out there? I think they need it.
That's a really good answer to that question, and one I hadn't really thought. I think it is kind of a natural extension. And maybe it's us of not going back to that sense of creativity and just play and tinkering, and maybe with all the demands of curriculum and assessment, we've forgotten it. It's almost like maybe a revolution off of that.
Yes.
Off of that.
Well, our kids are very busy. They have lessons, they have sports. Their time is so scheduled that downtime just to pick up some Legos and make something, just even just blocks to knock down. They don't have the time for that, and it's a shame. And that's why in my high school I've created a maker space just so that they can come in during the 40-minute lunch period. They can just sit and tinker and enjoy themselves. And I know a lot of my kids enjoyed the craft area, where they just can make little gadgets, and I'm always amazed by what they choose to make and to do. They tend to stay away from the technology. I mean, I do have the robots and whatnot, and they are popular, don't get me wrong, but I find that just making little things seem to engage my students quite a bit. And again, I think they're stressed out. They need a little downtime, and I'm happy to provide that.
One of the questions I asked Christina, and I think it's one that fascinates me with library and media specialists, is the library is changing.
Libraries are always changing.
Yep.
We've always been on the forefront of change.
That's
we've
always
fascinating.
Adapted.
Yeah.
How do you see libraries maybe in the future going forward? What do you think they're going to look like?
We will always change, and we will always adapt, and we will always respond to our consumers, our patrons. We are there for them. We're not librarians because we like books. We like working with patrons. We like working with knowledge. We like developing knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it. When you think of a library as a place of books, you kind of lock yourself in a box. But when you think of a library, and what I think libraries have always supposed to have been, as a place to empower people in the community.
A library is more than just a physical space. We really have branched out. We are virtual. I mean, most of my quote unquote library is online. It's not physical. I can't pick it up. I can direct my students and patrons to resources, but the physical aspect of the library is just one portion. So the library is bigger than a space, and it's bigger than a person. It's a collaborative place for knowledge building.
All right, so it's time for the Speed Geek questions. All right, so your first question is your first computer.
I don't even remember the name of it, to tell you the truth. I just remember it was so big and so clunky, and it took up the entire desk. It was obscene how big. And I do remember, not my own personal computer, but at work, the first computer I worked with, we had the acoustic modem, where you had to take the phone handle.
Oh my gosh!
And push it into the modem. That was again half the size of the desk. So, and then it made that wonderful noise.
I know. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm dating
We
myself.
can recognize it, but today's generation will not recognize that sound. Yep.
No.
All right. So, what's your favorite educational blog or edtech blog?
I would have to say I love following Laura Fleming. She, The World of Making. She has lots of good ideas. I love following her on Twitter as well.
Okay, and are you a World of Warcraft person, or a Words with Friends, or are you a gamer at all?
I don't game too much. I find I don't have too much time, but I do love Scrabble. I do love Words with Friends. If I start playing Angry Birds or anything like that, then I've lost 2 hours of my life, and I haven't gotten
I know
it back.
we don't have that time, do we? But it is nice to sometimes have a diversion in our life that way.
Downtime, yes.
Yeah. All right. Last question: Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
All right. You're the first. I think if I took a percentage, Star Wars is definitely winning the fight.
Star Trek.
All right.
Oh, William Shatner. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gina, for stopping by. And if you're in the area, stop by and see me at the social media kiosk.